Now, Morrissey, you were recently quoted as saying that you didn't think you'd ever be Flavour of the Month because you were too clever for that. Do you think that perhaps that's already happened?
No, I don't. I can't see it happening. Quite predictably, there is some degree of press backlash already, but that's just the way things go. It's really nothing to do with the Smiths. And we'll always sidestep any connection with any kind of movement or any trend.
Of course, you come from Manchester, which is already well known for its factory records connection. But with your own musical style, do you think perhaps you'd have been more at home in the Manchester of 5 years ago with the Buzzcocks and magazine as such?
No, I can't see that really. It's a very, very stray question. No, I don't feel it. We feel very at home in 1984.
How do you feel about factory being sort of Manchester? I suppose that must be very important up there.
It's very, very important, but the problem is it overshadows anything else that might want to crawl out of the woodwork. So we thought it was very important to step beyond factory and do something quite different.
Rough Trade, in their early press releases about you, were very pleased that they'd managed to keep you, but I remember they were also like that about Aztec Camera, who eventually drifted off. How do you feel about Rough Trade?
Most of the time I feel quite pleased with what's happened. I don't know anything about the history or Aztec Camera, but I realise that they never had hits because they never had the right record to have hits with, so I don't know about Aztec Camera or Scrittipality. They never particularly sounded like anything special to me.
How do you feel about the other songs that your songs are nestling within the charts at the moment?
Most of them I really don't like, but when you meet these people who make these records and you find that they're incredibly agreeable people, you have a kind of a different slant on the whole thing. Like you meet The Alarm and you find out they're incredibly nice people, but from a distance you kind of look at the charts and you just shrink. The distance really colours your opinion. But most of them are, really quite nice people, so what can you say? For me, it's quite difficult because I criticise so many people, and then I meet them and I find that they're very, very wonderful people, and it's quite difficult, but one must have one's opinions.
It's Valentine's Day today, and I know you hate being asked this question.
So why are you asking me?
But I'm going to ask you anyway, because there are a lot of young listeners who would say, well, why didn't I ask you?
All right.
And I know you don't like talking about it, but the flowers, I mean, particularly today, why?
Well, not really particularly today. I mean, today's Valentine's Day. That's a coincidence, but I don't know. It was so many people see them as being quite romantic, and I like that. But that's as far as we'll go with romance, no further.
Some people are beginning to wonder whether you're arrogant or not because of the way you're obviously very enthusiastic about the band. Does that worry you?
No, because I find that the people that say that we're arrogant are simply the people who do not like us. And the people who like us say that we're very, very strong and very, very confident. I think if you don't expect some kind of a backlash, then you're quite unrealistic.
The album comes out next week. Do you think that... how do you think the press are likely to receive it?
I think it'll be received very, very well, but since so many people write about us now, it's obvious that as you get more well known, you gain more enemies. It's just quite a natural scheme of things. Not everybody likes you, but I do think the album will get tremendous praise.
What about the tracks on the LP? Which do you feel most happy with?
To me, with just simply every track, it's almost impossible for me to single certain tracks out, but if I'm really forced to, I'd probably single out Hand in Glove, which for me is still the height of what we've done.
Which is the track that mentions Manchester in the lyric?
Manchester, I think Suffer Little Children says, oh, Manchester, so much to answer for.
Why? Why so much to answer for?
Well, I mean, I'm not referring to the Smiths, but just because the song itself covers a particular story, an event that happened in Manchester in the mid-60s, which was the Moors murders, and hence Manchester, so much to answer for, because the people of Manchester wanted to keep it quiet and keep it hidden, and I think that was very, very bad. It should be brought out. So there we are.
Ian McCulloch of Echo and the Bunnymen said a few weeks ago in an interview that he didn't like it when people asked him about his lyrics because nobody asked poets what their lyrics meant. Do you feel the same?
Well, I often feel that the words are there to be read, and it seems almost ridiculous giving interviews, giving speeches about what you've already written. It's like writing a book and then just writing another book about the book you've written. It's quite confusing, but I think, I mean, people want to talk about it, it's fine, but really everything is just simply there, laid out, and you have to extract what you do from it.
Are you going to carry on writing very much love songs for, 84, 85?
I think so. I'm not going to change dramatically, and if our fortunes take a nosedive because of that, then that's the way things are. I'm not going to be inspired by trend or dictated to by anybody. We'll just, at the end of the day, we will always just do what we want to do.
And finally, you've got the Sandy Shaw song being released shortly. I mean, everybody knows that you've tremendous adulation for her. How will you feel if that's a hit? Do you want it to be a hit desperately?
Well, it has to be a hit now because, I mean, what the world does not know is that the song will be, in fact, hand in glove. And that'll be very important to me because one way or another it has to be a hit record. It just so happens that Sandy's done a stunning version, and that's how it will chart. So
that's the song she's done, hand in glove, isn't it?
Yes, and she's done another one on the B-side called I Don't Owe You Anything.
Did you like her interpretation of your lyric?
Very much so, yes, I did, in every way. But, you know, I mean, she could do almost anything, I don't mind.
I Don't Owe You Anything, from the Smiths. You also heard What Difference Does It Make, Pretty Girls Make Graves, and Suffer Little Children. And those three last tracks are on the LP. Well, in fact, they're all on the LP, which comes out, or should be in your shops next week. Simply entitled The Smiths, and very good it is too. I hope you enjoyed the gig if you managed to get tickets to see them on Tuesday. A little short, I think, was perhaps the only criticism, and I saw them in Leicester on Thursday night, because coincidentally they were there while I was, and they played a very short set there again. She played slightly different songs, which was good. You don't often go and see a band and they do a different set, so that was nice. And they've obviously got far more songs than it takes to do in 35 minutes, so it's not through lack of stuff.